There's a story that I like to tell my students about my tool philosophy. I hope it helps you think about your technology toolbox and the Web 2.0 tools you use in your classroom. When I moved into my first apartment, one of my friends gave me the cutest little toolbox. It had 4 essential tools: a hammer, a screwdriver with a variety of tips, a wrench, and a pair of pliers. They were packaged in a bright plastic case, each tool fitting into its own snug spot. This toolbox was great, and I used it often to hang pictures, assemble bookshelves, and once even to fix a leaky faucet. But when I moved to a house, I found that I needed more tools. My collection of tools got bigger and bigger, and I had to have a bigger toolbox. I needed other tools as my task involving home maintenance grew, and new chores came up. And as I added new tools, I also added new skills. Over the years, I've added many tools to my collection, and I still use many of the original ones from my first toolbox. But now, instead of one screwdriver, I have many different ones. I can select the one that best fits the task instead of trying to make one screwdriver work for everything. Specialized tools usually make the job easier and more efficient. When I had a problem, sometimes I could figure out how to solve it myself, but often I had to rely on other people to give me advice. I went to construction and home improvement stores, and I asked the sales associates many questions. I also began watching home improvement shows on television, and I checked out a lot of books from my local library. I found a great deal of advice and recommendations in online websites too. It's amazing what resources you can find on the internet. And as the number of my tools grew, so did my skills in using them. My confidence grew too, and soon I was tackling bigger jobs, like installing wood floors and renovating my kitchen. One of the keys in finding the right tool when you need it is to keep them organized and accessible. I have found that if I put them away out of sight, that I don't use them very often. In the case of the more specialized tools that I don't use very much, I try to practice with them from time to time so that I don't forget how to use them. Even though I don't use them as often as the others, there's nothing that beats the right tool for the job. I keep them in reserve for those special tasks. Most of the time, I use several tools to solve a complex task, and when I have a particularly challenging problem, I might not solve it on the first try. It might take me several tries and several different tools to find a solution. So what is the takeaway from this story, and how does it apply to your Web 2.0 toolbox? First, you need to have a reason to use the tool, whether it's a saw or a technology tool. Learning to use a tool without knowing why or how it fits into your toolbox is a waste of time. Imagine a carpenter learning to use a hammer but not having a construction project in which to use it. Seek help in finding the best tool for the job. There are many sources of good information, from your peers all the way to online bloggers. Don't be afraid to ask for advice. Practice, practice, practice with the tool. Nothing can take the place of first-hand experience, a time of trial and error before you use the tool in an actual context. Your skills will improve as you use the tool. The first time I used a jigsaw, my cuts were not very good. But over time, I learned to control the speed and direction much better. Your skills will improve as you use Web 2.0 tools too. Evaluate how the tool is solving your need. Sometimes a tool just didn't work for me. It was too hard or too complicated, and it wasn't worth the effort. Sometimes I needed a different model of the tool that was better suited to me. Don't give up if the tool doesn't work at first. Continue to add new tools. Don't stop with the tools that are already in your toolbox. Continue to learn about new tools and see if they're worth adding to your toolbox. I hope that you will enjoy our MOOC and you'll learn about Web 2.0 tools you can add to your toolbox and use in your classroom to improve teaching and learning. I hope to see you online.